You're very welcome back to the show. Now, lockdown was a lonely time for a lot of us, and now the restrictions have eased. Many singletons are more motivated than ever to find love. But how can you find your soulmate safely during these uncertain times? Well, joining us now to tell us how COVID-19 has changed the dating scene is relationship expert Frances Kelleher. You're very welcome to the show, Frances.
Thanks so much for having me, Elaine.
Now, first of all, do you think the pandemic really exacerbated the loneliness for an awful lot of people who might be single?
Definitely. I mean, even some of my clients have said that they were lonely before the pandemic, but now they're acutely lonely. And they've said to me, you know, they don't want to go through another lockdown alone. So it's actually, I feel, one of the best things that has happened to dating in years. So at least something positive is coming out of COVID, because people are more serious about meeting their one person. You know, with COVID, there could be no hookups and all that. So people were more serious and more genuine about meeting that one person.
And have you seen a big uptake over the last few months in your client list?
Oh, 100%, yeah. And I've spoken to matchmakers that I'm connected to in the US, in the UK, in Ireland. They've never been busier. The dating apps were on fire during COVID. They're still very busy, but they were exceptionally busy during the whole lockdown period. I mean, Bumble, the fastest growing dating app in the world at the moment, they saw a 21% increase in their new video feature that you can video call people just by the end of March. So it's huge. Tinder saw 28% more messages being sent back and forth. People were messaging hugely during COVID. And it's been brilliant for people that we actually had online to communicate when there was no other way. So, and the conversations were longer. Bumble recorded the video conversations went on for 30 minutes, which was much longer than had been pre-COVID. Yeah. So it's been great.
You'd think it would be the other way around, because there was no actual possibility of meeting them physically in the flesh, and you think maybe it would just take a back seat. But no, you think it's done wonders for people. And I suppose if you're in that situation, it will make you think what you really want from a relationship, really. Do you think people got pickier since?
Yes, well, I think definitely people did get pickier, and they really have thought about the priorities in their life. So people that, you know, had the career, had lots of money, people have come on to me saying that. Like, I had a woman last week, she said, I have the career, I have lots of money, I own my own house, I love what I do, but it's just that little piece of the puzzle that is missing. I don't have that special person. And like she said to me, you know, what's the point in this great life when you don't have anybody to share it with? You don't have anybody at home to tell about the great day you had and to share all the great things you have in your life. So people are really reevaluating what's important to them. Other women have said to me, you know, I used to care what a man did. He had to have a certain, you know, amount of money he earned annually. I don't care about that anymore. I just want a person with a good heart that will be there for me in times of trouble, you know, in times of loneliness, in times of sickness like COVID. So people are way more genuine about meeting a genuine person and are really making it a priority in their lives. Because, you know, I think, Elaine, COVID did us all a great favour in one way, that it was a leveler for everybody. It didn't matter if you had 10 million in the bank, if you had nothing in the bank, we were all the same. If you were alone, you were alone, and there was nothing you could do. So people are really reevaluating their lives and what's important in their life, and seeing that, you know, we've been stripped down to our essence. All that really matters, you know, not to sound, you know, corny or soppy, but it's true, is love and relationships, be it, you know, love in friendships and, you know, love within family and love within that special romantic relationship. So people are going back to basics, and I think it's fantastic, because that's where real happiness lies. All the studies, research, it's all shown that man is not an island. We thrive with each other, giving back. We thrive in community, and, you know, those old values are coming back, and it's fantastic. COVID has been brilliant for the dating scene, I have to say.
And because it had gotten that the hookup culture had gotten very prevalent, because it was like ordering your shopping online, really, with Tinder and a lot of online apps. It kind of went the total opposite way. So something like this really pulled people back into thinking what they really want from life.
Yes. And, you know, now, like when we were in lockdown and even now, there's no hookups. You can't do that. So people are actually forced to take things slower, which I think is a brilliant thing. I mean, the old ways of courting, you know, in the older generations, like that's what they used to call it, the old style courting is back. And it's great because, you know, it makes for a deeper connection, deeper relationship. People get to know each other's values and can see, you know, are they compatible more and quicker, you know, besides rushing into things and all that. So it's great. It's really brought back the communication. People have said to me, the dates have been better I've been on because we were forced to communicate more. And of course, there was the whole aspect, you know, of virtual dating, which has been fantastic. That's what I have even advised people to do. You know, even now, women say to me, I really like this guy, but I don't want him to think I'm rejecting him when he asks me to go to a house party or break the rules of COVID. So I say, you know, suggest a virtual date instead. So it has been great for dating in every way because it's just slowed things down and given people more of a chance to get to know each other.
But for a lot of people, if you were in lockdown and during the social restrictions, I mean, if you're a bit more introverted, it's always that bit more difficult to get out and about. But how is it now for these people? If you're kind of stuck in, not a rut, but kind of comfortable in your own house, in your own pyjamas, you're not really inclined to get out and about again. I mean, how would you advise people to get out of that slump?
Well, you know, I would say you can go on a virtual date, even if you didn't want to go out, take it slowly, step by step. You could have a short and sweet virtual date. And people, you know, would be worried about how do I get off the virtual date if I'm in my own house? How do I end it if it's, you know, if I don't get on with this person or whatever? So you could say, send a message, say, would you like to have a virtual coffee for 20 minutes? If you put a time on it, it lessens the pressure on both parties. So you could have your 20-minute virtual coffee and see, you know, if this guy is worth meeting in person and take it that way. And, you know, what I would say is as well for the introverts, you know, you don't have to jump in. Take things slowly. Things are slowly, naturally now anyway with the COVID restrictions. So what I would say is forget the dinner dates. Go on a walk. Loads of people are just going on walking dates. You know, they're keeping the social distancing. Go on lunch or get an ice cream. Just keep it short and sweet and it lessens the pressure. I mean, you know, who wants to be on a 3-hour dinner date when the chemistry is not there and you're not connecting?
Well, these days it's only a 90-minute dinner date, so at least you've got that.
Yes.
You don't have to be stuck with them for 3 hours. But because of the restrictions, the normal things aren't there. So, you, as you said, walks. You can go for dinner if you want, or a coffee or something like that. But you can't. The snogging at the end of the night really isn't viable, so you don't know if you've got the spark or not, and that's important as well, the physical side of things. And if you can't really explore it, it's difficult. So how will you know? You got to try before you buy, like.
It is, Elaine, to be honest, you know. Again, I will say all this builds anticipation and passion and enthusiasm and curiosity. So they're all huge things in dating, to build the anticipation and all that. So, you know, when we do get out and we will be able to be physical, you know, I think people will, you know, have a great time and they'll appreciate it more because we couldn't, you know. But these are all good things for building up the anticipation, the relationship. And of course, you know, women, you know, the kiss is huge in dating. People don't realize it. Women, 66% of women, if the kiss isn't good on the first kiss, they actually don't bother with the relationship. So it's huge. People think, you know, oh, a kiss is just a kiss. It's not. They did loads of research and studies, and it's the #1 most memorable memory that people have, young and old, is the first kiss with the person. So it's huge. So, I mean, I would say, yeah, we are restricted that way, but you know, you can still meet. The matchmakers are having the dinner dates and the lunch dates. you know, they're organising that you can still meet and get to know the person, and it's still good because, like I say, it's building the anticipation.
Yeah, during lockdown, I've noticed that a lot of people either, it was make or break. A lot of people broke up, and a lot of couples who may not have been getting on so well have really come together as a unit, and there seems to be one extreme to the other, and the happy medium isn't there. Why do you think that is? So many breakups, so many breakups.
Yeah, I mean, that famous lawyer, Shackleton, she's a celebrity divorce lawyer. She even spoke during COVID saying that their peak times that they're called on for divorce and to come in and do proceedings is after the Christmas holidays and after the summer holidays, when people are forced to spend time together. So COVID has been like that. You know, if there was cracks in a relationship, they would have come out more because people were forced to be together. And if, you know, there was a great solid relationship, it just made the relationship better because they were spending more time together. They appreciated the time, the extra time they had in the family time. So the other thing is, it's a high intensity situation. You know, I was saying this the other day, I've heard other people talk about it as well like this, that it's almost like we're in a war. It's almost like a war zone. It was very sudden, very intense. Most of us had not experienced anything like this. Like, our parents have gone through the world, you know, wars and all that, and rationing of food and dramatic things like that. But most of us hadn't been through a world pandemic like this. So it was almost like, you know, not so much like a near-death experience, but those emotions are still there, yeah. The intensity and, you know, the kind of, you're pushed up against the wall and things become very black and white in those situations. So people that were very into each other said, look, now is the time. And people that said, I can't do this fake facade anymore, said now is the time to cut it loose, you know.
Ran for the hills. Anyway, Frances, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.